What is proof of possession of an FCC-issued operator/primary license grant? A. The printed operator/primary station license issued by the FCC must be displayed at the transmitter site. B. The control operator must have an operator/primary station license in his or her possession when in control of a transmitter. C. The control operator's operator/primary station license must appear in the FCC's Consolidated Licensee Database. D. All of these choices are correct. C. The control operator's operator/primary station license must appear in the FCC's Consolidated Licensee Database. Which of the following HF bands have frequencies available to the technician class operator for RTTY and data transmissions? A. 10 meters, 12 meters, 17 meters, and 40 meters. B. 10 meters, 15 meters, 40 meters, 80 meters. C. 30 meters only. D. 10 meters only. D. 10 meters only. When are you allowed to operate your amateur station in a foreign country? A. When the foreign country authorizes it. B. When there is a mutual agreement allowing third-party communications. C. When authorization permits amateur communications in a foreign language. D. When you are communicating with non-licensed individuals in another country. A. When the foreign country authorizes it. Under what conditions is an amateur station authorized to transmit music using a phone emission? A. When incidental to an authorized retransmission of manned spacecraft communications. B. When the music produces no spurious emissions. C. When the purpose is to interfere with an illegal transmission. D. When the music is transmitted above 1280 MHz. A. When incidental to an authorized retransmission of manned spacecraft communications. Which of the following is true of remote control operation? A. The control operator must be at the control point. B. A control operator is required at all times. C. The control operator indirectly manipulates the controls. D. All these choices are correct. D. All these choices are correct. When must the station licensee make the station and its records available for FCC inspection? A. At any time 10 days after notification by the FCC of such an inspection. B. At any time upon request by an FCC representative. C. Only after failing to comply with an FCC notice of violation. D. Only when presented with a valid warrant by an FCC official or government agent. B. At any time upon request by an FCC representative. What is the meaning of the procedural signal CQ? A. Call on the quarter hour. B. A new antenna is being tested, no station should answer. C. Only the call station should transmit. D. Calling any station. D. Calling any station. What might be the problem if a repeater user says your transmissions are breaking up on voice peaks? A. You have the incorrect offset. B. You need to talk louder. C. You are talking too loudly. D. Your transmit power is too high. When do the FCC rules not apply to the operation of an amateur station? A. When operating a races station. B. When operating under special theme rules. C. When operating under special hours rules. D. Never. FCC rules always apply. D. Never. FCC rules always apply. What term is commonly used to describe the rapid fluttering sound sometimes heard from mobile stations that are moving while transmitting? A. Flip-flopping. B. Picket fencing. C. Frequency shifting. D. Pulsing. B. Picket fencing. How does the wavelength of the radio wave relate to its frequency? A. The wavelength gets longer as the frequency increases. B. The wavelength gets shorter as the frequency increases. C. There is no relationship between wavelength and frequency. D. The wavelength depends on the bandwidth of the signal. B. The wavelength gets shorter as the frequency increases. What is generally the best time for long-distance 10-meter band propagation by the F-layer? A. From dawn to shortly after sunset during periods of high sunspot activity. B. From shortly after sunset to dawn during periods of high sunspot activity. C. From dawn to shortly after sunset during periods of low sunspot activity. D. From shortly after sunset to dawn during periods of low sunspot activity. A. From dawn to shortly after sunset during periods of high sunspot activity. How might a computer be used as part of an amateur radio station? A. For logging contacts and contact information. B. For sending and or receiving CW. C. For generating and decoding digital signals. D. All of these choices are correct. D. All of these choices are correct. Which of the following would reduce ignition interference to receiver? A. Change frequency slightly. B. Decrease the squelch setting. C. Turn on the noise blanker. D. Use the rate control. C. Turn on the noise blanker. What is the name for a current that flows only in one direction? A. Alternating current. B. Direct current. C. Normal current. D. Smooth current. B. Direct current. What is the approximate amount of change, measured in decibels dB, of a power decrease from 12 watts to 3 watts? A. Minus 1 dB. B. Minus 3 dB. C. Minus 6 dB. D. Minus 9 dB. C. Minus 6 dB. What is the unit of frequency? A. Hertz. B. Henry. C. Farad. D. Tesla. A. Hertz. What is the resistance of a circuit in which a current of 3 amperes flows through a resistor connected to 90 volts? A. 3 ohms. B. 30 ohms. C. 93 ohms. D. 270 ohms. B. 30 ohms. What type of electrical component consists of 2 or more conductive surfaces separated by an insulator? A. Resistor. B. Potentiometer. C. Oscillator. D. Capacitor. D. Capacitor. Which of the following electronic components can amplify signals? A. Transistor. B. Variable resistor. C. Electrolytic capacitor. D. Multi-cell battery. A. Transistor. What is component 3 in figure T1? Its symbol is an arc between 2 electrodes. A. Resistor. B. Transistor. C. Lamp. D. Ground symbol. C. Lamp. Which of the following is a resonant or tuned circuit? A. An inductor and a capacitor connected in series or parallel to form a filter. B. A type of voltage regulator. C. A resistor circuit used for reducing standing wave ratio. D. A circuit designed to provide high-fidelity audio. A. An inductor and a capacitor connected in series or parallel to form a filter. What is the name of a circuit that generates a signal at a specific frequency? A. Reactance modulator. B. Product detector. C. Low-pass filter. D. Oscillator. D. Oscillator. How can overload of an on-amateur radio or TV receiver by an amateur signal be reduced or eliminated? A. Block the amateur signal with a filter at the antenna input of the affected receiver. B. Block the interfering signal with a filter on the amateur transmitter. C. Switch the transmitter from FM to SSB. D. Switch the transmitter to narrowband mode. A. Block the amateur signal with a filter at the antenna input of the affected receiver. What reading on an SWR meter indicates a perfect impedance match between the antenna and the feed line? A. 2 to 1. B. 1 to 3. C. 1 to 1. D. 10 to 1. C. 1 to 1. How is a simple ammeter connected to a circuit? A. In series with a circuit. B. In parallel with a circuit. C. In quadrature with a circuit. D. In phase with a circuit. A. In series with a circuit. Which type of voice mode is most often used for long-distance weak signal contacts on the VHF and UHF bands? A. FM. B. DRM. C. SSB. D. PM. C. SSB. What mode of transmission is used for satellite beacons? A. RTTY. B. CW. C. Packet. D. All of these choices are correct. D. All of these choices are correct. What is the Internet Radio Linking Project IRLP? A. A technique to connect amateur radio systems, such as repeaters, via the Internet using Voice over Internet Protocol VoIP. B. A system for providing access to websites via amateur radio. C. A system for informing amateurs in real time of the frequency of active DX stations. D. A technique for measuring signal strength of an amateur transmitter via the Internet. A. A technique to connect amateur radio systems, such as repeaters, via the Internet using Voice over Internet Protocol VoIP. What is an ARQ transmission system? A. A special transmission format limited to video signals. B. A system used to encrypt command signals to an amateur radio satellite. C. A digital scheme whereby the receiving station detects errors and sends a request to the sending station to retransmit the information. D. A method of compressing the data in a message so more information can be sent in a shorter time. C. A digital scheme whereby the receiving station detects errors and sends a request to the sending station to retransmit the information. What is the approximate length, in inches, of a quarter wavelength vertical antenna for 146 MHz? A. 112. B. 50. C. 19. D. 12. C. 19. Which of the following connectors is most suitable for frequencies above 400 MHz? A. A UHF PL259/SO239 connector. B. A Type N connector. C. An RS213 connector. DADB25 connector. BA type N connector. Why is it unwise to install a 20 ampere fuse in the place of a 5 ampere fuse? A. The larger fuse would be likely to blow because it is rated for higher current. B. The power supply ripple would greatly increase. C. Excessive current could cause a fire. D. All of these choices are correct. C. Excessive current could cause a fire. What is the minimum safe distance from a power line to allow when installing an antenna? A. Half the width of your property. B. The height of the power line above ground. C. The half wavelength at the operating frequency. D. Enough so that if the antenna falls unexpectedly, no part of it can come closer than 10 feet to the power wires. D. Enough so that if the antenna falls unexpectedly, no part of it can come closer than 10 feet to the power wires. Why is duty cycle one of the factors used to determine safe RF radiation exposure levels? A. It affects the average exposure of people to radiation. B. It affects the peak exposure of people to radiation. C. It takes into account the antenna feed line loss. D. It takes into account the thermal effects of the final amplifier. A. It affects the average exposure of people to radiation.